Hey guys, David Clayton again from GuitarBreakdown.com, and I want to wish you a happy holidays and Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and all that good stuff again. This is the second video, Christmas video, that I said I was going to try and get to this year. I didn't think I was actually going to have time. I'm kind of running thin on time right now. But it made it in, which is really cool, because what's great about this is a lesson on another, as I said in the other video, Dan Huff, my favorite guitar player. It is the second solo he does. He may actually do 3 solos. I think he does an acoustic one too, or maybe that's on a different CD. But this is the second kind of electric guitar rock kind of thing on this Christmas CD. And it's called We Three Kings, and it's a really cool solo. Now, the one we did before on Dan Huff was more of a bluesy, cleaner tone, kind of jazz bluesy kind of thing. This is straight ahead rock, so this fulfills all you rock heads out there. It's got tapping, really cool stuff. It's got great little phrasing, great tone, and really cool bending licks, and a cool little chromatic thing too. And he kind of throws all that stuff in his solos all the time. Like, his phrasing's great, his tone. He's always bending to cool, bending notes in cool ways, and he's always thrown in 1 or 2 little chromatic-y jazz line. Now, these chromatic lines are less reminiscent of like Scott Henderson or Alan Hines and that stuff. It's more like, again, this was recorded in the late 80s, early 90s. This is more reminiscent of that style of chromaticism, which is really, you'll see, just kind of 4 notes in a row. It's very like Steve Lukather-ish, really cool and rock-oriented. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Again, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. Please take a look at the comments below, or the description below. I'll put a link to where you can buy this CD. I don't know if it's still in production, but I'll find out if it is, like on Amazon or something. And I'll put a time code to where the solo begins. And also, if you get a chance, click subscribe if you haven't already, or the thumbs up if you like this video. Comments, emails, all that good stuff. It really helps let us know that you guys like these videos and you want to see more. So we really appreciate that. Thank you again for an amazing year. Hope you guys have a great holiday, and let's get to the lesson. All right, guys, and my Christmas present to you all is the fact that I'm going to make this a short lesson. I know I've promised that on almost every video this year. It's just hard to do. There's just so much information, and it's funny. I'm trying to make them quicker lessons for the people that are saying, "Oh man, you talk too much, or the lesson's too long," which I know I talk too much, but that's who I am, I guess. But the thing is, I get just as many comments saying that we love how in-depth you go on these lessons. I get so many good little nuggets, through everything that I listen to. But whatever, everybody's got their own taste, and but here I am talking again. This lesson's going to be quick because there's really not a lot to it. It's a really short solo. It might be 12 bars. I don't even know how many bars it is actually, but it's over 2 chords, so it's really simple, and it's pretty well diatonic the whole time. That said, let's dive right into it. The chords that it's being played over a G major, right? Just a G major chord. Played that enough. Then it goes to an A7 chord. It just goes up a whole step from G to A and plays a dominant chord. And the scale is pretty, again, over the G major part, you could think of just G major. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Right? Very simple. So it's all natural notes with an F sharp in there. Now, when it goes to A dominant 7, it plays A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A. So you can think of, it just throws in, the only difference between the 2 scales is a C natural and a C sharp. So over the beginning, the G chord, it starts out with this cool little tapping run, and it's basically going, and that's 10, 12, 14 on the E string, and then you tap the 15th fret and you pull off, and this is all on the E string. So, and it just holds that. Might give a little vibrato. Then it pulls off all these strings from 14, 13, 12 to 10. And then it slides down to 8. Okay, so then it hammers on from that 8, 10, 12, and then it taps again the 15th fret. And then it pulls off and gives vibrato. So the tap is happening on the 15th fret for both phrases. Then it does that same thing where it pulls off from 3 notes in a row chromatically to 1 note. So 12, 11, 10 to 8. So you have then what you would expect is it to probably go down to this note and hammer on there. So but it never, he doesn't actually go to that note. What he does, he just pulls off these notes, unless he does it and it's barely heard and I wasn't able to detect it, but he just pulls off 12, 11, 10 to 8, and then hammers on 10 again, and now instead of tapping the 15th fret, you tap the 14th fret, and you pull off, so the 10th fret. So the whole phrase is... Then he does this legato thing where he pulls off from 10 to 8, slides down to 7, and then he hammers on the 8th fret and goes down to the 10th fret on the B string. So then he goes from the 7th fret on the E string to 10, 8, 7 on the B string. So then he just hammers back on from 7, 8, 10 back to the 7th fret on the E string. So that whole phrase is... Then he pulls back off 10, 8, 7. I don't know if I said that already. So after he gets that note again, he goes 10, 8, 7, hammers back on quickly to the 8th fret, and then he ends on that E note on the 9th fret of the G string. So the whole phrase is... Okay, now when I first transcribed that, I thought, like I said, I thought there was a possibility he was actually going... I thought he was actually doing that, but then after listening to it more, I didn't hear that. And then when he did this, I also thought he did, instead of going up to this note, the B note on the E string, I thought he tapped that note, and he might. I just, there's a difference in the tonality of that and picking that note, and I'm not sure which one I think it is, but the speed at which he does this, I don't think he pulls his hand here and goes back here to pick that last note. So I think it's just, like, I don't think he actually taps it. So again, that whole section is... And then he just slides off. Then he goes into this phrase where... And that's just walking up these notes, the 7th fret on the G string to the 9th fret on the G string. So, and he really puts some attitude into that, and even that bend. So 7, 9 on the G string, then 8, 10 on the B string, and he bends it up and down real quick. And then he does a slow bend up. So it's... And then he just pulls that, puts the pinky on the, unless he's doing the second finger, but on the 10th fret of the E string. So... And then he bends it up, bends it down on the 10th fret of the B string. Then he plays the 8th fret on the B string, and he ends the phrase again on that E note on the G string. So the whole thing is... slides it off again. Then he gets into, and that's all over the G chord. Then it goes to the A7 chord. And this is where he slides up to. He just slides up and slides down. And he's sliding right to the A note of that A chord. So that's kind of why that note works. Again, this first section was all natural notes. D, E, F sharp, G. And I say all natural notes. By that I mean all natural except for the F. So there's an F sharp, of course. And then, of course, there's some chromatic notes. And that's just C, D, E, and a G tapping on the note. And you keep emphasizing that G note over the G chord. Right? So then you go to the F sharp, which is the major 7 of the G chord. Then if you look at all these notes, you have E, F sharp, G, A, B, right? And this is D, E, G, A, bending up to a B note. And then you go down those notes. So it's all natural notes except for that F sharp. And then, and when he lands on that note, he's landing on the major 6th of the G chord, which is a cool note. The 9th or the 6th are cool notes to land on.